The temple is silent beneath the first light of dawn. Marble pillars rise, white and timeless, holding whispers of ages past. A soft breeze carries the scent of olive trees, sacred to the goddess Athena. The air feels heavy with wisdom, yet gentle as if cradling the listener's breath. At the center of this sacred place rests a throne, glowing with quiet light. It is not a throne of power, nor of war, but of eternal triumph of the spirit. The throne of Athena stands as a beacon, untouched by time, filled with grace. Legends say it does not belong to a ruler, but to the seeker of wisdom. No crown, no sword, no treasure can claim it, only truth, courage, and compassion. The throne whispers to those who come with an open heart and a questioning soul. It tells not of battles, but of victories found within silence and reflection. On this path, triumph is not over others, but over fear, doubt, and ignorance. Here begins our journey, a story of light, born in stillness and strength and peace. Welcome, dear listener, to the eternal triumph throne of Athena. Let us step together into the timeless sanctuary of wisdom and wonder. The sun rises slowly above the horizon, painting the sky in soft gold and gentle pink. The temple of Athena awakens in silence, yet its silence speaks louder than words ever could. Marble walls shimmer faintly, touched by the light, as if the goddess herself brushes them with grace. Every column stands tall, unshaken by time, holding stories carved into their very veins of stone. The air is crisp, cool, yet heavy with meaning, a breath that carries centuries of devotion and prayer. Birds circle high above, their wings wide, as though they too pay homage to this sacred place. The olive trees nearby sway lightly, their leaves whispering tales of peace and divine wisdom. No sound of footsteps breaks the stillness, only the soft hum of life wrapped in eternal reverence. The temple floor glows pale under dawn, polished by countless pilgrims who walked in hope and wonder. Each stone has felt prayers rise like incense, rising through air to touch the heart of Athena. The throne of eternal triumph rests at the center, bathed in light not born of sun or flame. It glows with a quiet radiance, steady, unyielding, as if its brilliance belongs to another realm. No crown rests upon it, no jewels adorn it, yet it outshines treasures of kings and emperors. The throne is not of conquest, nor of dominion, but of wisdom carved deep into divine silence. Legends speak of its creation, when Athena placed her essence into marble shaped by sacred hands. It was not meant for warlords or tyrants, but for seekers who walked paths of truth and virtue. Pilgrims who arrive here do not kneel for power, they listen for whispers hidden in still air. The temple itself seems alive, its walls breathing with memory, its halls echoing with invisible song. When dawn light strikes the throne, shadows vanish and the space becomes filled with golden serenity. Those who stand before it feel their hearts soften, their doubts fade, and their thoughts grow clear. The silence of the temple is not emptiness, but fullness waiting to be understood by patient souls. Every pilgrim who enters must leave behind fear, ambition, and pride at the threshold of its gates. Only with an open heart can the throne speak, not with sound, but with wisdom that flows unseen. Stories tell of seekers who entered and left changed, bearing no crown but carrying new light within. Some returned to their villages with peace, some with courage, some with creativity shining like fire. Each triumph was different, yet all were eternal, bound not to victory over others, but over the self. The temple does not test with trials of strength, but with the gentleness of silence and reflection. Here, Triumph is patience. Triumph is kindness. Triumph is a question answered in the heart's quiet. The throne of Athena shines brighter when approached with honesty, humility, and longing for truth. Its glow reflects not on the body, but on the soul, illuminating hidden paths of thought and spirit. Many have come, yet none could claim to own the throne, for it belongs only to wisdom itself. In the temple, time feels suspended, as though past and present breathe together in endless harmony. The pilgrim soon to arrive does not yet know the lessons waiting, but the temple already does. It has seen countless seekers, yet each is new, each story unique, each triumph eternal in its way. The first light of the sun fills the chamber, and the throne glows as though awakening to its role. The temple waits, silent yet alive, ready to whisper its truths to one who dares to listen. This is the silent temple, the beginning of a journey, the gateway to the eternal triumph of Athena. The path to the temple winds gently through olive groves, their silver leaves shimmering in morning light. A lone pilgrim walks slowly, each step steady, guided not by haste, but by quiet determination. His cloak is worn, his sandals dusty, yet his eyes are bright with hope and gentle curiosity. The air around him feels charged, as though unseen hands weave threads of destiny along his way. Birdsong follows him, soft and rhythmic, blending with the whisper of branches swaying in the wind. He does not come seeking wealth, nor glory, nor power, but a truth that cannot be weighed. The villagers spoke of the temple as sacred, a place where hearts found clarity in stillness. He listened to their tales not with skepticism, but with longing, like a wanderer thirsting for water. The road grows steeper, stones scattered beneath his feet, yet he does not falter or look behind. Each step seems to echo, not in sound, but in spirit, resonating with the unseen life of the land. At times, the pilgrim pauses, lifting his gaze to the sky, where clouds drift like slow-moving sails. He wonders if Athena herself watches, her wisdom carried in the wind, her presence in every ray. His heart is not heavy with fear, but open, curious, eager to receive whatever awaits at journey's end. The olive grove thins, the path widens, and soon the first marble glimmers appear on the horizon. The temple rises above the hill, radiant in dawn, glowing as though carved from the morning itself. For a moment, he halts, struck by awe, his breath caught as silence deepens around his presence. No trumpet announces his coming, no crowd witnesses, yet he feels welcomed as though expected. The throne of Athena, though unseen yet, already hums faintly in his heart like distant melody. He steps forward again, each stride lighter, as though invisible hands now guide his weary body. The gates of the temple come into view, tall and noble, their carvings alive with ancient wisdom. Owls etched into the stone seem to watch, their eyes eternal, guardians of knowledge and clarity. The pilgrim bows slightly, not in ritual but in reverence, acknowledging the spirit dwelling within. Crossing the threshold, he feels a shift, as though time bends, folding him into eternity's embrace. The temple greets him not with sound, but with silence rich as a library filled with unwritten truths. Shadows recede before him, golden light spilling from the heart of the sacred chamber. The pilgrim feels small, yet not diminished, for the space around him expands his very spirit. He carries no offerings of gold, no incense, no sacrifice, only his questions and an open soul. He whispers softly, almost to himself, a plea not for answers, but for wisdom to guide his way. The temple listens, though it does not reply, its silence more eloquent than words could ever be. Slowly, His eyes fall upon the throne, radiant and serene, waiting in the stillness of eternity. It shines without fire, glows without shadow, an eternal beacon carved into the very breath of time. The pilgrim's heart quickens, not with fear, but with recognition, as though he has always known it. For a moment, the world narrows to this one vision, a throne not of rulers, but of seekers. He takes another step, then another, drawn closer by a pull that is gentle yet irresistible. The air trembles faintly, alive with unseen whispers, carrying the voice of wisdom through silence. The pilgrim kneels, not in submission, but in respect, offering his presence fully to the moment. In that stillness, his journey ends and begins, the temple breathing with him, the throne waiting. This is his arrival, not at the end of a road, but at the threshold of eternal triumph. The pilgrim kneels in the sacred chamber, his breath steady, his gaze fixed upon the glowing throne. No sound of human voice breaks the stillness, yet the silence feels alive, filled with unseen presence. The marble floor beneath him is cool, grounding him, anchoring his spirit as his heart beats softly. The throne of Athena shines without flame, its glow gentle as though light itself were breathing. At first there is nothing but quiet, a vast calm that stretches beyond time and mortal thought. Then, like wind-stirring leaves, a whisper stirs, not of air, but of pure meaning. The pilgrim does not hear words with his ears, but senses them unfolding within his heart. It is not command nor demand, but a gentle call, an invitation to listen deeply. The throne speaks in stillness, each whisper shaped by wisdom older than stone or star. The pilgrim closes his eyes, surrendering to the voice that is not sound, but truth. Child of the journey, the whisper breathes, you have come not for conquest, but for clarity. The words are not spoken, yet they bloom in his mind like blossoms opening to light. The pilgrim bows his head, not in fear, but in reverence for the grace flowing through silence. The whisper continues, gentle and steady, like ripples expanding across a quiet lake. Triumph is not the crown upon the victor, but the light discovered within the seeker. The pilgrim feels the weight of these words, not heavy, but luminous, resting upon his soul. He realizes the journey has already begun, not on the road outside, but here, within. The throne glows brighter as the whisper deepens, filling the chamber with golden serenity. Visions shimmer in the air, faint and fleeting, like dreams balanced between waking and sleep. He sees olive branches swaying, their leaves shining as symbols of peace and resilience. He sees communities gathered together, sharing bread, sharing laughter, living in harmony. He sees artists painting, thinkers writing, builders shaping homes, acts of creation as triumph. Each vision passes, yet each lingers, etched into the heart like a sacred remembrance. The pilgrim understands that these are not promises, but reminders of what triumph truly means. The whisper returns, softer now, like twilight wrapping around the edges of day. Seek not to rule, but to understand. Seek not to take, but to give. The words glow within him, lighting paths he had never seen, showing truths long hidden. The silence that follows is not emptiness, but fullness, a silence that sings without sound. The pilgrim opens his eyes, and the throne shines steady, radiant, untouched, eternal. Though it has no voice of its own, he knows it is spoken, and his soul is heard. He feels lighter, as though burdens once unseen have slipped quietly into the shadow. No command has been given, no rule set upon him, only wisdom shared in grace. The pilgrim whispers back, not in words, but in gratitude, his heart offering silent thanks. The temple accepts, the throne gleams, and the chamber breathes with quiet harmony. He knows the whisper will remain with him, carried in thought, guiding every future step. It was not a lesson shouted, nor a law written, but a gift revealed in stillness. And as he rises slowly from the marble floor, he carries within him the first true triumph. The whisper of wisdom has spoken, and the journey into the eternal throne has just begun. The pilgrim stands before the throne, his heart still trembling with the whisper carried through silence. The glow of the marble throne softens, yet its presence deepens, as though inviting him closer within. He breathes slowly, steadying himself, feeling that each breath carries him deeper into sacred awareness. The silence hums with meaning, no louder than still water, yet stronger than thunder in his spirit. Then the whisper returns, not as voice, but as clarity forming within his very thoughts. Knowledge, it begins, is the seed of triumph, the light that guides a soul through the shadows. The pilgrim listens, his mind quiet, his heart open, ready to receive what words cannot fully contain. Visions emerge again, shimmering around him, not illusions, but mirrors of truth hidden in plain sight. He sees a child seated beneath an olive tree, tracing letters in the dust with eager hands. The child's eyes shine with discovery, each symbol carrying a universe waiting to be explored. Knowledge is not in the letters alone, but in the wonder that stirs the heart to learn. The vision shifts, showing elders gathered in circles, sharing stories of stars, rivers, and seasons. Their wisdom is not written, yet passed like flame, carried by memory from one life to another. The pilgrim feels the weight of these stories, their truth shaped by generations of patient observation. Then he sees a craftsman carving wood, each stroke guided by years of practice, error, and growth. Knowledge shines in hands as much as in books, a union of thought and lived experience. The throne whispers again, the truth sinking deeper with each breath he takes. Seek not only what is told, but what is hidden. Question, explore, and let curiosity be your guide. The pilgrim feels the words ignite something inside, a flame that does not burn, but enlightens. He understands that triumph is not the end of questions, but the courage to keep asking them. He recalls his own journey, each step guided not by certainty, but by the need to know. The whisper deepens, becoming both gentle and firm, as though urging him toward greater responsibility. To hold knowledge is not to possess power, but to carry light for others who walk in darkness. The pilgrim bows his head, humbled, realizing that wisdom is not for pride, but for service. Visions return once more, showing a teacher kneeling beside a student, guiding without demand. The teacher's triumph is not in control, but in sparking discovery that blooms within another's mind. The image shifts to a healer, studying herbs, blending remedies with patience and careful attention. Knowledge becomes compassion when it serves life, not ambition, flowing as a river nourishes roots. The pilgrim feels tears rise, not of sorrow, but of recognition. For the truth is simple and vast. Knowledge is triumph because it cannot be stolen, nor destroyed, nor dimmed by passing of time. It is a victory that grows brighter the more it is shared, multiplying instead of diminishing. The throne glows warmly, affirming the lesson, as though marble itself smiles in divine approval. The pilgrim places his hand upon his heart, silently vowing to seek and share truth with grace. The silence returns, yet it feels richer now, as though filled with unseen libraries of wisdom. The chamber breathes, steady and calm, and the pilgrim stands taller, his spirit woven with light. He knows the journey has only begun, but already a treasure lies within him, the gift of knowledge. And so the first lesson is sealed in his heart, a triumph eternal, glowing in the silence of Athena. The pilgrim lingers in the stillness, his heart steady as the first lesson glows within him like dawn. The throne of Athena gleams brighter, as though it recognizes the seed of knowledge planted deep inside. But silence does not linger long, for another whisper rises, firm and calm, carried on unseen air. Courage, it declares, is not the absence of fear, but the choice to walk forward while fear remains. The pilgrim closes his eyes, listening, feeling the word echo through the marrow of his being. Suddenly, visions unfold again, swirling like mist until they shape a world of meaning before him. He sees a traveler standing before a mountain, the path steep, storm clouds swirling above its peaks. The traveler trembles, yet still takes one step, then another, and the mountain begins to bow. Courage is not found in strength alone, but in the willingness to begin despite trembling hands. The vision changes, showing a sailor on stormy seas, waves rising, winds screaming against the mast. The sailor grips the helm, eyes forward, not because fear has vanished, but because duty guides him. The pilgrim feels his chest tighten, recognizing moments when his own fears tried to bind his steps. He sees the truth now. Courage is not a shield that blocks fear, but a lantern that leads through it. The throne whispers again, its tone warm and unwavering, like stone softened by eternal sunlight. To live without courage is to live in shadow, for triumph belongs to those who dare the light. The pilgrim's heart stirs, and a memory rises of a child standing before others, voice shaking. The child speaks a truth no one dares to say, yet by speaking, the silence is broken forever. Courage is in the voice that trembles, in the step that falters but does not turn back. The vision shifts again, this time to a mother protecting her young, standing before the unknown. Her courage is not loud, nor adorned in glory, but steady, fierce, and enduring as stone. The pilgrim feels tears press at his eyes, for he sees courage living quietly in countless souls. It is not grand battles, nor shouts of triumph, but steady hearts that do not surrender to despair. The throne glows, the air thrumming gently as the whisper sharpens its truth into a sacred lesson. Fear will always walk beside you, but courage chooses which road your steps will follow. The pilgrim breathes deeply, realizing that every step of his journey has been shaped by this choice. He recalls nights of doubt, when silence seemed heavy and his path uncertain, yet still he moved. That was courage, not in great victories, but in the quiet refusal to let fear decide his fate. The visions bloom again, showing a bridge over a deep chasm, trembling in winds of uncertainty. One figure steps forward, crossing slowly, while others remain behind, bound by hesitation. The pilgrim sees himself in that figure, for his steps too carry the weight of silent risk. Courage does not demand certainty, only trust that each step will shape a path where none existed. The throne whispers once more, each word etching itself into the pilgrim's awakened heart. To hold courage is to open doors others fear to touch, and in doing so, to light the way. The chamber hums as if the marble itself breathes, a calm power filling the sacred silence. The pilgrim bows his head, not in fear, but in reverence, embracing the truth gifted to him. He understands now that courage is triumph, not in conquest, but in the will to continue. The silence deepens, not empty but full, carrying the weight of a lesson that cannot fade. The pilgrim stands taller, his spirit brighter, carrying the flame of courage into the unknown ahead. And so the second lesson is sealed in his heart, eternal as the throne, radiant in the light of Athena. The chamber grows soft again, its silence like a cloak, wrapping the pilgrim in gentle stillness. He stands quietly, heart steady, holding both knowledge and courage within, like flames guiding his path. Yet the throne of Athena glows once more, as though another truth waits to be revealed. The whisper rises, calm and tender, carrying warmth deeper than the marble walls can contain. Compassion, it breathes, is the bond that joins souls, the triumph that endures beyond all measure. The pilgrim closes his eyes, listening, his chest aching with a strange sweetness that feels eternal. Visions bloom before him again, painted not in grandeur, but in humble acts of quiet grace. He sees a stranger kneeling by the roadside, offering water to a weary traveler without demand. The traveler drinks, their strength restored, while the giver asks for nothing but to see them rise. Compassion is not measured by wealth, but by the heart that chooses to notice another's pain. The vision shifts to a child feeding a bird, tiny hands holding crumbs as wings flutter in trust. It is kindness given freely, a bridge between lives, a language no word can fully translate. The pilgrim feels his spirit tremble, realizing that compassion is a triumph beyond victories of pride. The throne whispers again, its tone soft as dawn light, yet steady as mountains enduring time. Without compassion, knowledge becomes cold and courage becomes sharp. But together, they find harmony. The pilgrim sees a healer once more, tending the sick not only with skill, but with gentle care. Hands carry knowledge, yet it is the warmth of compassion that turns medicine into true healing. Then he sees a farmer sharing his harvest with neighbors, though his own store is small. Compassion multiplies when given, like seeds scattered to the wind, each sprouting into countless fruits. The pilgrim's eyes sting, for he recalls moments in his journey when a kind glance saved his spirit. The smallest gift of care often becomes the greatest anchor for a weary and wandering soul. The vision deepens, showing a circle of people lifting another who has fallen, each hand steady. Together they rise, stronger not in solitude, but in unity shaped by compassion's quiet triumph. The throne glows brighter, as though the very marble breathes the truth into the pilgrim's being. To triumph is not to stand alone, but to walk together, each life a thread in a sacred weave. The pilgrim presses his hand to his heart, sensing the weight and light of this eternal lesson. Compassion is not weakness, but strength, the choice to open the heart where fear would close it. It requires courage to feel another's sorrow and wisdom to act with care and not with judgment. The whisper flows on, steady and true, carrying a teaching as vast as the sea itself. Compassion is the crown of triumph, for it transforms knowledge and courage into a gift for all. The pilgrim bows his head, humbled, realizing that this is the throne's deeper purpose revealed. Not victory through conquest, nor triumph through solitude, but greatness found in care for others. The chamber softens, the silence thick with unseen presence, as if the goddess herself watches close. The pilgrim breathes deeply, feeling his spirit expand, no longer bound by self alone. He knows now that compassion is the eternal light, the thread binding all triumphs into harmony. And so the third lesson is sealed within his soul, glowing forever in the timeless throne of Athena. The silence lingers, yet it feels alive, as though the chamber itself breathes in rhythm with the pilgrim. He stands still, carrying the weight of 3 lessons, each glowing within him like stars in night skies. The throne of Athena shimmers again, softer this time, a glow like twilight before the coming dawn. The whisper rises, calm and slow, carrying the wisdom of rivers carving stone over endless years. Patience, it speaks, is the triumph of time, the strength to endure, the grace to wait with faith. The pilgrim listens, his breath quiet, sensing that this lesson runs deeper than rushing hearts can hold. Visions stir around him once more, forming gentle images woven with stillness and subtle truth. He sees a farmer sowing seeds, pressing them into the soil, though no fruit yet appears. The days pass, the rains fall, the sun burns, yet the farmer waits, trusting the unseen roots. Patience is faith in what cannot yet be seen, a triumph of trust stronger than hurried desire. The vision shifts to an artist painting, each stroke careful, the canvas revealing its beauty slowly. The work is not rushed, for the painter knows art blooms in layers, not in haste. The pilgrim feels his chest loosen, realizing that patience is not delay, but the rhythm of creation. The throne whispers again, steady as waves, as if time itself has joined its eternal voice. To rush is to break, but to wait with purpose is to build what endures beyond the moment. The pilgrim recalls his own journey, nights where silence pressed heavy and answers seemed far away. Yet each unanswered step brought him closer, though he had not seen the path while walking it. That was patience, not in stillness alone, but in continuing without demand for instant reward. Visions bloom again, showing a teacher guiding students, repeating lessons until understanding takes root. Patience is not frustration, but faith, knowing that growth takes time as dawn follows the night. The pilgrim sees a mother cradling her child, rocking gently through countless sleepless hours of care. Her strength is patience, love steady and enduring, shaping life one heartbeat at a time. The throne glows, marble bathed in golden light, as if Athena's hand rests upon its surface. Patience is triumph over haste, a crown earned not by swiftness, but by steady devotion. The pilgrim bows, humbled, recognizing moments where impatience once blinded him to silent blessings. He feels the whisper pierce him gently, soft yet unshakable, a truth he cannot ignore. To wait with hope is not to waste, but to trust the weaving of eternity unseen. The chamber grows warmer, silence deep, carrying the still rhythm of time's eternal pulse. The pilgrim breathes slowly, each breath aligning with the patience of stone, rivers, and stars above. He knows now that patience is not weakness, but a strength to endure without losing heart. It is the triumph of those who trust the unseen, who walk steadily even when the road hides. Visions fade, leaving him in stillness. Yet within him blooms the slow light of understanding. He feels the 3 flames of knowledge, courage, and compassion, now bound by patience's steady hand. The throne's glow steadies, as though this lesson has found its rightful place within his soul. The pilgrim lifts his head, his spirit calm, his steps now guided by the quiet strength of patience. And so the 4th lesson is sealed within his heart, eternal as the throne, enduring in the light of Athena. The chamber falls silent once more, the air carrying a weight softer than before, like dusk in summer fields. The pilgrim stands with patience in his soul, awaiting what new truth the throne may now reveal. The glow begins again, delicate and pale, like moonlight spilling gently across a quiet sea of marble. A whisper forms, steady and clear, its tone like silver bells calling across the distance of time. Wisdom, it says, is not the keeping of knowledge, but the weaving of truth into the fabric of life. The pilgrim listens, his heart wide. Sensing this lesson carries the weight of Athena's eternal crown. Visions awaken, circling him in silence, glowing threads weaving themselves into shapes of memory. He sees a sage beneath an olive tree, teaching children with stories that dance like firelight. Wisdom shines not in the hoarding of words, but in the giving of them where hearts can grow. The vision shifts to a traveler, wandering far, learning from each land and each humble voice. Wisdom is not locked in scrolls or stone, but carried in footsteps, in questions, in listening. The pilgrim breathes slowly, feeling knowledge within him shift, reshaping into living wisdom's form. The throne speaks again, voice patient, each word like a stone placed with careful, deliberate hands. To know is to hold, but to be wise is to use, to share, to shape the world with gentle truth. Visions rise again, showing a judge weighing disputes, not with pride, but with fairness rooted in care. Wisdom is mercy, a balance of heart and mind, seeing beyond desire into what truly heals. The pilgrim feels warmth spread in his chest, as though the whisper plants seeds of light within him. He recalls his own steps, the voices met, each teaching not through words alone, but by example lived. The throne glimmers bright, marble shining as if stars themselves had been woven into its form. Wisdom is the bridge between gods and mortals, the light that guides without binding chains of pride. The pilgrim bows, humbled by the grace of truth that seeks not to rule, but to illuminate paths. He feels the whisper echo deeper, like a river carrying him gently toward the vast ocean of meaning. True wisdom is not the crown of one, but the lamp for all, burning brighter when freely shared. The chamber swells with quiet harmony, as if every wall remembers the lessons of ages gone by. The pilgrim closes his eyes, letting the visions root, like trees growing steady within his spirit. He sees scholars who teach with patience, healers who listen, leaders who serve more than command. Wisdom is their thread, binding lives together, weaving harmony in the silent loom of time. The throne glows with serene dignity, carrying Athena's gift across the endless horizon of history. The pilgrim's heart settles with reverence, knowing wisdom is the eternal triumph above fleeting glory. He breathes deep, his soul resting, the sixth lesson sealed like a jewel within his spirit's crown. The chamber dims, yet the whisper lingers, soft as dawn's first light upon the waiting earth below. The chamber quiets again, its stillness tender as though the stones themselves lean in to listen. The pilgrim breathes slowly, sensing the rhythm of the throne, waiting for the next eternal flame to speak. The glow begins to shimmer, warm and golden, like sunrise spilling over ancient hills and open fields. A whisper rises, strong yet gentle, carrying tones like the heartbeat of earth itself under steady skies. Gratitude, it speaks, is the crown of the heart, the triumph of seeing blessings in both joy and trial. The pilgrim feels a shift, his chest filling with warmth, as if hidden lights awaken in his memory. Visions unfold, glowing around him, weaving scenes where gratitude shines brighter than sorrow or loss. He sees a child receiving bread, eyes alight with wonder, holding it as though it were a treasure of gold. Gratitude turns little into much, making even the simplest gifts bloom with meaning everlasting. The vision changes to a traveler welcomed, offered shelter by strangers with open arms and humble smiles. The traveler bows, thankful, and his gratitude shapes bonds stronger than stone or fleeting wealth. The throne whispers again, voice flowing like rivers that nourish the land without seeking return. To give thanks is to see light in shadow, to honor life not for its ease, but for its endless gift. The pilgrim recalls nights under the stars, where hunger pressed heavy, but wonder filled the skies. Even then, gratitude was present, a quiet song in his spirit, teaching him that all moments carry grace. Visions bloom again, showing a musician playing with joy, though the audience is few and unseen. Gratitude is not applause, but the beauty of sharing, knowing the gift itself is already enough. The pilgrim feels tears form, not from sorrow, but from a deep, steady reverence for what has been. The throne glows brighter, marble radiant, as though Athena herself offers a smile through its flame. To live with gratitude is to walk in triumph, for no darkness can steal the heart that gives thanks. Visions rise of a village rejoicing after storms, grateful not for what was lost, but for what endured. The pilgrim feels this truth carved deep, knowing gratitude transforms even wounds into places of light. He remembers faces along his journey, kindness given freely, and his spirit bows in silent honor. The whisper echoes again, soft yet unshakable, a truth bound to the eternal pulse of creation. Gratitude crowns every lesson before, binding knowledge, courage, compassion, patience, and wisdom. The pilgrim breathes deeply, his heart calm, his soul woven with threads of endless thankfulness. Visions fade into silence, yet within him a song remains, steady as the stars guiding ships at sea. He bows low before the throne, humbled, carrying gratitude as both anchor and flame for the path ahead. The chamber dims once more, the whisper fading, but the warmth lingers like a blessing eternal. The pilgrim steps back, spirit lifted, the seventh lesson sealed forever in his soul's crown. The chamber grows silent again, though the silence feels alive, breathing like the steady rhythm of ancient stone. The pilgrim waits with gratitude, burning steady, his heart open to the next truth the throne will reveal. The glow begins once more, radiant and deep, like fire reflected in still waters beneath the midnight sky. A whisper rises, calm yet unyielding, carrying the sound of wind moving across mountains and endless plains. Justice, it says, is the balance of truth, the triumph of fairness that binds all lives in harmony. The pilgrim feels the word echo within, its weight like a scale resting on the very core of his being. Visions awaken, bright and solemn, weaving scenes where justice stands as light against the shadows of pride. He sees a council gathered, voices raised, yet one voice steadies them with fairness over anger and haste. Justice is not victory for one, but balance for all, the bridge that holds even when storms rage. The vision shifts to a ruler who listens, not to power, but to the pleas of the weak and forgotten. Justice shines in mercy, in equity, in seeing every soul as worthy beneath the gaze of eternity. The throne whispers again, its voice steady, as though marble itself speaks with the wisdom of the gods. To walk with justice is to honor Athena, for truth and fairness are her eternal gifts to the world. The pilgrim feels his breath deepen, his steps recalled moments where injustice had pressed upon his path. Yet, in each trial, the presence of fairness, however small, had carried him through with steady light. Visions rise again, showing a healer who tends equally, no life too small to deserve gentle care. Justice is compassion in action, the recognition that all are bound by the same divine breath. The pilgrim bows his head, humbled by the weight of this truth, his heart steady as stone in river flow. The throne glows brighter, the air heavy with reverence, as though all creation pauses to witness. To deny justice is to wound the world, but to uphold it is to crown all with dignity unbroken. Visions bloom once more, showing strangers helping strangers, hands clasped in fairness across divides. Justice is not law alone, but love of balance, the triumph of harmony woven into the fabric of time. The pilgrim feels strength stir in his chest, as if fairness itself has taken root within his soul. The whisper carries on, soft yet fierce, like thunder rolling far yet felt in the bones of the earth. Justice binds gratitude, wisdom, patience, and compassion, shaping them into truth unshaken by desire. The chamber fills with golden light, steady and unwavering, like the flame of an eternal torch. The pilgrim breathes deeply, knowing this flame will guide him beyond pride, beyond shadows, into balance. Visions fade, yet the air hums, alive with the memory of fairness etched into eternity itself. The pilgrim bows before the throne, his spirit lifted, the eighth lesson sealed into his soul's crown. And so the glow dims, leaving him in silence, yet a silence filled with the heartbeat of justice everlasting. The chamber rests in silence, deep and unbroken, yet filled with echoes of the lessons carved into eternity. The pilgrim stands tall, though his heart bows low, carrying within him the wisdom of the throne of Athena. Light glows faintly on marble walls, as though the stones themselves honor the journey that has been fulfilled. He breathes deeply, his soul steady, knowing the path has shaped him beyond the measure of any crown. The throne shimmers once more, gentle and calm, its glow like dawn, blessing the horizon of the world. The final whisper rises, softer than before, carrying the eternal voice of balance, truth, and triumph. You have walked with courage, compassion, patience, wisdom, gratitude, and justice. It speaks with grace. These gifts are not for you alone, but for all, to be carried like torches into the lives of many. The pilgrim closes his eyes, the words sinking deep, binding his spirit to the eternal call of service. Visions bloom one last time, brighter than before, weaving every lesson into a crown of living light. He sees cities rising with fairness, villages singing with gratitude, hearts alive with wisdom's flame. He sees generations learning courage, patience, and compassion, weaving triumph into every soul. The throne's glow reaches its height, radiant and vast, filling the chamber with golden harmony. It feels as though the stars bow low, as though time itself bends to honor the triumph eternal. The whisper carries on, final yet everlasting, like a song that never ends, though the notes fade. Go forth, it says, not as one crowned, but as one who crowns others through love and truth. The pilgrim bows deeply, tears in his eyes, gratitude overflowing for the journey he was chosen to walk. He touches the floor, marble warm beneath his hands, as though Athena herself rests upon it. When he rises, the throne glows softer, its duty complete, yet its light eternal in his spirit. The chamber fades into quiet shadow, yet the lessons shine within him, a flame that cannot die. He turns at last, his steps steady, each one carrying the weight of wisdom and the grace of truth. Beyond the chamber, the world awaits, still vast, still broken, but filled with hope. Through the light he bears, the pilgrim walks on, not as seeker alone, but as bearer of Athena's eternal triumph throne. His heart is calm, his spirit lifted, his path forever shaped by the crown that cannot be seen. The throne remains quiet and timeless, waiting for the next who dares to seek its eternal gift. Yet its flame now lives in the pilgrim, carried onward into the weave of time's endless story. And so the journey ends, yet also begins. For triumph eternal is never bound to one moment alone. It is the throne of every heart that chooses truth, wisdom, gratitude, justice, and love to reign. The chamber grows still, the marble at rest, yet the whisper echoes across the ages, unbroken. The pilgrim disappears into horizon's glow, a figure crowned not by gold, but by the eternal light. The story closes here, yet lives forever, carried in every soul that dares to walk with Athena's grace.